Yeah, it was, swing was going, well, I felt like it was going nice. It looked really nice anyway. Positions were good and came out on here first tee shot and just went straight left over those trees there. Straight out the middle, and it took me a couple of days to kind of get everything squared up again. So I think nets are really good for working on technique, but it just, yeah, probably overdone it a bit and didn't really know where it was going. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the hole like normal into the green. If I miss the green, then I just play it as it is. But if I hit the green, I've got to throw it off anywhere around the green and then try and get up and down. Yeah, so I keep a gross score. The aim is probably 1 or 2 under, because we've got a par 5 that I can reach, and then the ninth is a par 4 downwind. So both of them I'm probably going to be on or around in under reg. So should potentially make a couple of birdies there. So the thing I didn't explain, if I hit it within 45 yards of a green, that counts as a short game shot. So then when I play this one, it's 36. So basically from now, I'll play this hole out like normal, rather than play 2 short game shots. So the tricky thing about downland courses in the summer there. Yeah, putting is normally my strength. For the last couple of years, it's been how I feel with this. If I'm feeling like I'm swinging it nicely with the driver, I tend to have a pretty good game, because it's, the rest of my game is pretty strong. I mean, statistically on tour last year, I was pretty far up there on a lot of other aspects. Just I didn't drive it that great, and then switched into this driver back end of last year, along with doing some different things from a psych point of view, and it's just changed things around really. Come out a little quick. Sit. Just a little jumpy out the rough. So basically all I do is kind of narrow. If my normal 3-iron, this is a 3-iron, so my normal stance would be kind of just wider than shoulder width. And then to hit the low kind of stinger, I get quite narrow, and then I turn out my left foot more. And then basically what I'm trying to do from there is coming into the ball, try and get the club quite shallow. So it's going to be in, try and get it into the ground early, and then keep the loft off of it. So I'll keep the angle of my wrist and the head through the ball, and then I won't do it, but it's almost the feeling of trying to stop there. But you kind of, the momentum of the club, you're always going to end up getting through. But for me, it's the feeling of getting on top of it, the club shallow to the ground, and then that will just drive the ball out low. The shot that most people hit is like a low smother hook straight into the trees, because you're getting them to get more on top of it, and then they just deliver the club head shut. So the key really is to try and maintain the face through the ball. So I'm trying to just hold the face as square as I can, and then that's why I get the feeling of trying to stop the swing short rather than long. Because if you try and finish long, you're probably going to wrap your hands over, and that's when it goes left. So, but it's one of those, you spend 20 minutes on the range firing balls as low as you can, you'll kind of get the hang of it. That looks so good on camera. No, I was calling on specific shots. I felt like I had my game in a pretty good place that week. So I was moving the ball around. I think 14th hole in the afternoon round, I hit probably a shot like that that looked awesome on camera, from maybe 220 into about 30 foot that got me 2 up, and that kind of sealed it really. I was 2 up for 4 or 5 to play, something like that, and I felt like from there, as long as I played steady golf, he was going to have to make birdies and push me really. And I think the key thing really is in your practice rounds, you're coming up with a game plan and kind of trying to stick to that. If there's a drivable hole and you've planned that you're going to try and drive it, then under the gun, you should probably just stick with it and try and drive it and things like that. So it's a mixture of things really. It depends how you're feeling. I mean, if you've got a drivable hole that you've planned to drive, but you're not actually hitting it good off the tee, then it would make sense not to smash it in places where you can't make birdie. Okay, that was not what I wanted to do. That normally bounces left, and it bounced right. Perfect. This is one of those par threes where really, as soon as you see a white flag, which is on the top tier, you just kind of play it from middle of the bottom tier and take your 2-putt really. You'll see when you get up there, the top tier's not very deep and also not very wide. Settle, settle. I'm not overly great at hitting a draw with driver. I can hit draw 3-wood and all of my irons, but I think that almost with driver, where drivers obviously progressed and they don't spin as much anymore, you kind of lose the ability to shape it as much. It seems a lot easier with a modern driver to move it left to right than the other way. That's what I feel anyway. Whereas an iron and a 3-wood, it feels like you can get the spin to move it around a bit more. Oh, bit too much. Try and do is get my knees a little bit more flexed and the stance wider, because it kind of, if you stood normal, most people will feel like they're just gonna go that way. So I try and almost sit back into the hill a little bit and get a little bit closer to the ball, and then basically just shut the face and then swing it kind of normal. Try and turn into the right side like normal and just try and basically shut the face and then swing standard, and it should neutralize it, if not turn it over. The trouble is with a slope like this, if you were going to try and hit the shot with the shape, you're hitting those trees. Because obviously most club golfers will hit a slice or a cut, and you're going to have to start it so far left on this slope. Probably the best thing to do is if you just went down your clubs, if you were going to hit a 6, maybe go for an 8, shut the face down and try and turn it into the slope a little bit. Sit. Sit. Not the one you want to catch a flyer. Stop. Wow, that would normally go. Down a touch. Should be pin high. Oh, that jumped. Oh, smoked. That could be the worst shot I've ever hit. That was like really close to what I wanted to do, but miles away at the same time. I was trying to hit a nice high draw off the bunker, and I've hit like the exact shot I wanted to hit, but off the flag rather than the bunker. We'll have another go. That's what I was trying to do. Oh, that's different class. That was a shut the face down, hit hard into the back and see what happens. Like I said, it's one of those that when you get this rough, there's skill to hitting it out, but when you start getting in thick stuff like that, you're kind of just hitting it and seeing what happens, because it could, I mean, that's come out exactly how I wanted it to, but it could have come out dead and just gone 3 foot in front of me. That's a good up and down for the old camera, that one. Little left. That'll do. Sit. Sit. So basically, they redone the front of this green last year. So it's really uneven to land it short. And it's one of those where you could get the left or the right bounce. It's quite hard to judge. So I had 41 yards, which from this sort of range, really, the term I use is half open, which basically means the face kind of points at my left toe. And then from there, I just make a pretty full swing, and it should go the 41. And then that just, for me, it takes out all the guesswork of landing it short. I didn't quite factor in the wind very well there, but it just takes out the things that you can't really control.
I noticed a lot with your footwork, you're very much left foot forward, aren't you, with a lot of these shots?
Yeah. A lot of short game shots, I tend to stand with my feet shut, and then I turn out my left toe quite a bit. For me, it just feels like when I do that, I can work my legs better because I like having soft knees that are kind of working almost like skis, I guess, kind of like out towards the target to the right. And then it just gives me a better platform to turn onto my legs better. Because I feel like if you stand kind of open, how traditionally, it always feels to me like the weight's back on my right foot, and that if I turn, I'm kind of gonna turn back and scoop it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for me, by being shut, I can get over the ball, and then from there, it's just use my body to turn onto it and get the ball starting online. I mean, I practice, if I'm not quite on it with my short game, I practice with my right foot pretty much off the floor behind me and just kind of hitting shots with just my left leg, because it feels like then I'm getting the feel for where the pressure needs to be. Because I mean, when I'm hitting shots, like a normal chip shot, I can pick that right foot off the floor pretty easily.
Right.
So the weight's pretty much solely on the left leg, which for me just feels like I've got better control over the loft and how I deliver the club.
And
yeah, I tend to go a little weaker on the right. It depends what kind of, like if I was going to play a short one that pops up and lands just in front of me, I go quite weak on the right hand, almost like right over the top. But that shot that I've just played there, that's kind of like a half open and then just get the hand a little bit weaker. And then the feeling I'm trying to get is that when I come into the ball, as soon as the butt of the club gets level with my right quad, that the hands then take over. So then it's going to work more this way, rather than being a drive forward like you would with a 7-iron, say. Like the feeling for me is that it's going to kind of work like that. And that's what's going to put the loft on the club. Ugh.